What's up guys, it's Bladelore, and today we're going to be doing a different kind of video. Of course it's still, a knife video. This is a knife YouTube channel. But I'm trying to figure out what other knives I can review. Some of them, I have a lot, just some of them I don't want to review because they're personal, but I decided while I wait for that, we might as well go over my knife collection as of 2025. So, I don't really know how to do a smooth transition, so let's just start with the one that I constantly talk about, and that is my custom Rambo First Blood styled hollow handle survival knife. I used the Rothco Rampster. I wrapped it in green paracord, and then I got a sheath from a Mossy Oak Bowie knife. And yeah, I customized the sheath a little bit. Since the review, I added a leg tie and a kind of cross snap-on button. So let me take the knife out. Here it is. I've actually used this a lot. This is my go-to camping knife now, or just kind of outdoor knife. And it's held up use really well. It has these anchors. I'll go grab those real quick. My apologies, I kind of forgot. But yeah, it has these anchors that just stay in this Velcro pouch. And I've actually used the grapple hook system. Now, I'm not going to attach this part because, you got to screw open the handle and all that. And, I did that in the video, but it's got these anchors. They just kind of attach here. It came with a different sheath, but I wanted to make this more like the First Blood knife. So I kind of took the anchors off. I took everything off. You can still put everything back on. The plastic sheath it came with actually also damaged my knife. It would rub off black paint on here and kind of mess with the edge. So I got a nice leather sheath, but here it is with the anchor attachment, and it still fits in the sheath even with that. So that was the first knife. We'll just put that to the side and we'll go look at the next knife. All right, so I mentioned I stole the sheath off of Mossy Oak Bowie. So we might as well go look at my Mossy Oak Bowie. Now you're thinking, what on earth happened to this sheath? And that's because this is a old Harbor Freight sheath I took and modified to fit the Bowie. The paracord is there to kind of latch over this part, because if you don't, it falls out. The edge is there. The button snap is still there. Now you're thinking, what's with the duct tape? That's because without this, the tip of the knife would kind of stick out through this vinyl and it would stab your leg. I learned that the hard way. So enough about the sheath. You can see more about that in the review. Here's the knife. It's a full tang. It's got these nice rosewood grips, and I mean, for 20 bucks it's a pretty decent batoning and chopping knife, so I like it. So we might as well, yeah, we're gonna go through these kind of fast, at least the ones I've already reviewed, because I mean, there's a whole video on them if you want to look at more in detail. So we'll just put that knife to the side, and I got a couple laying over here. We actually might just look at one from up here. So I'm gonna grab this one. This is my Harbor Freight survival knife. You can see I actually did a video on this. It has changed a lot since then. I took the sheath off an old $40 Rambo knife because I was just sheath swapping everything. So, when we get to that Rambo knife, it has a different sheath that I prefer to put in there. But yeah, this used to be my custom First Blood styled Rambo knife. I kept it in a different sheath for a while, but I like this. This knife is no longer sought after First Blood. I actually designed this off a character I'm writing in a book. Although the knife isn't like 100% accurate to what I described in the book, it's still pretty close. I kind of want to go for that cheap military surplus kind of knife feel, like, your old Bud K knives and all that. But yeah, $10 Harbor Freight knife, wrapped in leather, has this little thing on the end. It has a hollow handle. I reviewed this knife already, so again, watch that video, because if I went on the specs of every knife in here, this would be an hour-long video. So we're gonna continue with the next knife. All right, so this is a knife you guys haven't seen before, or at least I don't think I've shown on this channel, and that is the Buck 185. This was given to me by a guy I went on a pilgrimage with, and because, you know, it was given to me, I'm very careful with this knife. He gave me 3 knives. One of them I reviewed, the Coast Crew Chief. We'll get on that. But the other one he gave me, we'll look at that in a minute. So, yeah, I mean, it's a buck 185, you know. It's a really nice knife, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. I touched it up a little bit on a whetstone just to kind of make it sharper. But, yeah, it's still a really nice knife. I think this one's from the 90s. I'm pretty sure with the markings, but I may be wrong. I'm not a buck nerd. I don't really... This is, like, the only buck knife I have. I mean, I have a knockoff buck knife, the Ramster, which is a knockoff of the 184, but still decent knife. But, yeah, that's just a nice little buck knife. You know, if you like hunting, pick one up. So, on the topic of the knife this guy gave me, he also gave me this hunting knife right here. I believe he made this himself, actually. So, there's the sheath. It's, like, really nice. There's, like, I don't know if that's paracord, but, like, it's, like, really thick leather. And this is, like, the sharpest knife in my collection. Like, I made a video on it a while back, well, short. And, oh my gosh, this thing just slices through anything. So, yeah, the handle reminds me a lot of, like, an old kitchen knife. But then you see, like, this really nice curve here. And I don't know what this is, but, like, if I've never went hunting, but if I went hunting, this would be my go-to knife. Like, oh my gosh, it's a really nice knife. But I don't want to review it because it's one of a kind. I've never seen this anywhere else. Believe me, I've reverse image search and everything. So I don't want to review it because I don't want to damage it. It's really special. Along with the buck knife, you know, I was given to this on a very personal pilgrimage. I might tell you all that story in another video. You know, I want to make more Christian content, so I might talk about my pilgrimage. But we might as well go to the next and final knife that this guy gave me, and that's the one I reviewed, so it'll be very quick. All right, so reaching up from the top here, I pulled out the Coast Crew Chief. I took off the paracord area that I used to wrap around because I put that on another knife. You'll see that in a minute. But yeah, this is my go-to, like, work knife for heavy-duty tasks. And the reason I actually use this, even though it was still given, is because, you know, unlike the other knives, this is actually like 20 bucks, and it's actually really good. It comes razor sharp. I don't know if he sharpened it himself, but I like it. This is really good for hard tasks. I've used it for gardening, cutting open stuff, chopping down branches, splitting wood. I mean, this is, like, one of my favorite fixed blades to just use because it's small. It's easy to, like, just put in your waistband when you're going out, and yeah, it gets the job done. So I might as well go on to another fixed blade I like, but I haven't used yet. I plan on using soon, but I actually stole the paracord off the Coast. Well, I mean, the Coast didn't come with a paracord. I just put some on there. But I stole the paracord that I put on there to put on this, the SOG Seal Pup. It's got a nice Velcro sheath. I put a Zippo lighter in there. I still have to figure out how to refill one of those. Because, okay, I'm going to go on a rant here. Zippo lighters, $10. They don't even come with lighter fluid. It sucks, but you know what? Whatever. I always wanted a Zippo. I don't smoke. I just think, you know, zipper lighters are cool because movies, you know, I'm a teenager, so movies are cool. But, yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. Here's the Seal Pup. I mean, it's an awesome knife, and the paracord kind of adds, you can wrap it around, and when you're doing finer chopping, I mean, for a field knife, I guess this is what that is, you know, out in the field knife. It's awesome. It's got nice grips on it. It's sharp as crap. It's scary. These serrations, you know, I wonder if they do a straight edge one without the serrations, but, like, I mean, the serrations are cool, I guess. I don't know how practical. They actually look pretty practical because the serrations actually, you know what, I might as well put it to the side and pull out the next knife that the serrations remind me of, which is my very first survival knife, the Gerber. I might review this, but it's, like, so damaged and used, I don't know how well it'll put up because, yeah. But pulling it out, the serrations remind me a lot. They almost look identical, but they're slightly different. But yeah, this was my very first survival knife. I got it back in 2021 when I came back to America because my dad got it for me because I was really into the Rambo movies. So he was like, all right, we'll get you a Rambo knife when we go camping. And, well, here is that Rambo knife. So, I mean, the sheath itself, I might go into more detail. I might review this. It's got a ferro rod, I think is what it's called. It's a fire starter. You just strike it on this sharpened part. As you can see, I didn't really know how to do it, and I melted the plastic somehow. So, yeah, you take this part off, pull it out. It's got a sharpening stone. I've touched up a few knives on it. It works, but I got a lot of other stuff that I can sharpen with. I'm decent at sharpening. I'm starting to get the hang of it, but yeah. We're gonna put these knives to the side of the ongoing pile of poor financial decisions, and then we'll move on to another knife, because, you know, this is a knife collection. This video is gonna be so freaking long. All right, this is another special knife. The Gerber was my first fixed blade. This is my second fixed blade, and actually the first knife I bought with my own money. Before this, I was just given a lot of knives, but I went out, bought this. I had an old Walmart gift card, so I just bought this 3-pack. I gave the lockback knife to my brother, and then I gave a small, like, trapper case-style knife to a close friend of mine. But I kept the fixed blade because sentimental reasons, and yeah. I remember when I first got this, the leather sheath was like the main selling point. Just, it's nice. I mean, you know, now I got a bunch of leather sheaths, so this is like, all right. The knife itself, I have abused a lot. I retouched it recently, but it's a nice knife. I mean, it's a cheap Walmart knife, but I mean, it's sharp. I stabbed through metal with this and was still able to hold an edge. I mean, you can still see some chipping, but I mean, it's easily sharpened. It's good. So it's like a good starter fixed blade one. I don't know if it's full tang. It might be, but we'll never know. It's a mysterious Walmart knife that you can still get. These only come out around like the holiday season, you know, with all those gift packs like buck tins, your Camillus stuff. Which, speaking of Camillus, that might as well be the next knife, which is the second knife I bought. Now, this is the original sheath it came with. You are supposed to attach this part, this little trimming knife. To that, I reviewed these 2 knives that you're about to see, but you like clip that on there. I didn't, because I don't really like this sheath, so it's just kind of there for whenever I get a knife that for some reason doesn't have a sheath. But yeah, the knife, that's not the main knife. This is the main knife. I keep it in the Ramster sheath just because I prefer it. And I bought this back when I could only afford cheap knives, and I wanted a cool looking Rambo knife, so I saw this at Walmart for like 21 bucks. Came with the previously mentioned like trimming knife and a saw. The saw works. I haven't tried the saw back on this, but I mean, it's a nice combat style knife. You know, I don't know how efficient it would be. I don't know, never been to combat. Don't plan on going to. Call me a wussy if you will. I don't really care. I'm just a teenager reviewing knives on the internet. But yeah, we'll just put that again to this growing pile of, again, previously mentioned poor financial decisions, and we'll just move on to the last couple of fixed blade I have, and then we're going to review, well, not review, we're going to look at my folders. So see you guys in a minute. All right, so the last couple of knives I have up on here, I got out. This is just going to be a quick 3-way thing. These were my last knife reviews I did. Just a mossy oak set a friend got me for my birthday. Here's a small kind of, I thought it would be good at carving, but these things get in the way and they kind of hurt. And either that or I'm just, you know, a wuss. I don't really care, you know. You can comment up below, oh, you kids are wussies, you know, you can't carve with a rigid knife. It's like, yeah, sorry, Grandpa, my bad. We have better knives now. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But yeah, you know, this is just a quick kind of gift set. Again, you can get around the holidays. My birthday's around the holidays. It's in January, so my friend just picked this up for me, and I reviewed them. I was a little careful with them, but, you know, I still kind of did the whole testing stuff. But, I mean, they're pretty sentimental, because a good friend of mine, the one I gave the trapping knife to, got these for me. You can see this one from, I think it was Batani. This little section right here is loose. These are leather stacked. The box is full tang. I don't know if these are full tang. It might be a rat tang, but whatever, you know. Cheap, sharp Walmart knives. And now we got, like, I think it's 3 fixed blades left. And then we can get to my pocket knives, which I don't think you guys have ever seen. So, yeah. All right. So, This is kind of a fixed blade. We technically have two. This is just kind of the third one. It's a crappy knife I made. I took like a piece of wood and some broken scissors made like this. It serves no purpose other than me. I was bored out of my mind, had this left over, so I made it. Yeah, it's a piece of crap. You know, there's not much to say about it. It's not sharp at all. It's scissors. I tried sharpening it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I've learned a lot about making knives since then. I haven't made knives, but I have a lot of designs, and I hope one day I can kind of start making some. But I mean, you know what? This might be the stepping stone for a future career, God willing. I would love to make knives for a job, but you know, God has other plans, so we'll just throw this onto the pile, and we will now get to the last two fixed blades. All right, so I'm gonna open this cabinet real quick. We're gonna see the first knife down here, which is my Cisco Bowie knife, or SCCO, however you say it. I don't care. All I know is it's the knife Jim Bowie used at the Alamo, not the exact one. I mean, this is just supposed to look like what we think it would, which is why I got it, because I mentioned in the video, you know, ever since I was like 11, 12 years old, I was obsessed with the Alamo and wanted Jim Bowie's knife. And well, here is that knife, just exactly how I imagined it when I was 12 years old. Now, is it accurate? I don't freaking know. Do I look like I fought at the Alamo? No. But I like it. I used it. Yeah, it held up somewhat well. I think the handle cracked from batoning, but I like it. It's a nice knife. Now, since the sheath on this is used on something else, we're just going to carefully put this back in the display I have, and we're going to take out the last fixed blade, I think. I have a bunch of these, so I might find one later. Alright, so this was technically my first ever knife review. I changed the sheath. This is a Cisco Bowie sheath, but I use that for this knife because this is my $40 knockoff budget Rambo First Blood Part 2 survival knife. I added a leather, I mean, this is the longest and biggest knife in my collection. I mean, the Bowie's wider, but this is like longer. It has this leather thing that I put on there through the back. It has a survival kit I took out. It's just a display knife. This is all. I might do a field test on this. I didn't want to because, to be honest, this steel would not hold up. It might break. So, yeah, the reason I still use this is because, I don't know, I felt like it would be more accurate with the sheath and the snap-on thing, because the other knife, well, the other sheath I used was all right, but like this, it just looks better. And, you know, for this knife, it's all about looks. It's not about practicality. It's all about looks. So, yeah, that's just my $40 wall hanger. I've never used it. Don't plan on using it. Might do a review, and that'll be the most testing it'll ever get. Unless I'm desperate and this is the only knife I have lying around. In that case, I'm screwed. But, yeah, we'll just put that in the pile, and now we get to go on to the pocket knives section. All right, these next 5 knives are going to be basically an evolution of my EDC. So, when I first started knives, again, didn't have a lot of money, so this was my EDC pocket knife. This $3 Ozark Trail pocket knife you could still find today. It sucks. There's no edge. It can stab. It's got useless serrations, but this was my introduction to like EDC and carrying and all that, and I mean, it did the job, but now it's just kind of in the corner, you know. And then after that, I found this knife that my brother gave me when I lived in Korea. Didn't use it, but I thought, well, it's an upgrade from the pocket knife, so I started carrying this a little bit. This is just a Swiss Army knife, like the Victorinox Classic SD. It fit well my jeans, and you know, but I also wanted a knife that could be deployed fast for, I don't know, whatever. So I didn't like the idea of you had to take it out and pull it out. This broke because I was stupid and tried to pry something out with this. I mean, Victorinox steel, I don't know how good it is, but I mean, the tip just snapped. But the rest of the knife is fine. I still use it for like tasks, mostly I use this for building model kits. Well, I used to. I don't build model kits anymore. But after that, I decided to upgrade to a pocket knife that I actually liked. The Gerber Paraframe. I mean, I used this for a couple months, and then I found another knife, which will be my last and current EDC knife. But I mean, you know, it's a Gerber Paraframe. What hasn't been said about it? You can notice it's chipped a lot because this is now my go-to, like, backup camp knife. Like I use my Rambo knife for heavy tasks and I use this for fine tasks, but I also screwed around with it a lot. So sorry for the quick cut. It's going to be weird in editing, but whatever. I was about to talk about my current EDC knife. You know, we talked about the whole evolution and so now we have what I carry now, at least for now. You know, it's inevitable it gets replaced. So we have the Kershaw Filter. This is around the same price as the Gerber Paraframe, but I kind of prefer this, even with the flaws. We'll get into that. It's razor sharp. It's got a line lock system like the Paraframe, although I think the Paraframe's stronger. It's more stronger built. This has a lot of parts in it, but I mean, it's able to deploy faster. I've upgraded from thumb studs to this, although this has thumb studs, I just don't use them. My main issue was when I got my copy, I don't know if it's just mine, the screws came out a lot, so I just screwed them back in, glued them. This kind of comes loose every now and then, but it's still a reliable knife. I really like this spring-assisted kind of opening thing. So, yeah, that's my EDC knives, but alongside my filter, I keep this in my wallet. It's a multi-tool card, so we're just going to go through that real quick. Starting with the knife. I mean, it reminds me a lot of a Victorinox knife in terms of how it's built. This whole thing reminds me of the Victorinox Swiss card. So that's the knife. This is the needle. I've never used the needle. I've used the scissors. I mean, they do the job. I use this at work a lot. This is a flathead screwdriver. I don't know how well that'll be, but I have used this version of the screwdriver with the nail file. That's also on the Victorinox knife. This is the toothpick, never used, don't plan on using, it's kind of disgusting. These are the tweezers. I think I used them once. And then it has this pen, which doesn't work, so it just kind of is there. But yeah, this is the evolution of my EDC. So we can finally get on to the other pocket knives. So see you guys in a minute. All right, so I kind of went on the top and final part of the cabinet, and we'll start with these kind of, well, some of them are old. We'll just start with a new one. This was my first attempt at a knife review, but it went wrong, so I just kind of uploaded the whole thing going wrong. And that's this Dollar Tree knife. I mean, it's a crappy Swiss Army knife knockoff. I got cut by this because it's just like, everything on this is so cheap, it barely keeps well together. I mean, yeah, it's a cheap knife. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the basis for all those, like, souvenir knives you get at, like, I don't know, amusement parks and museums. It's like the exact same build, so we'll just throw that to the side. I mean, the only thing good about it is a bottle opener, because I do need a bottle opener, because I don't drink. I buy these Martinelli apple juices a lot with my friends, and we just screw around with that. The next knife I have is one from my grandpa in Germany. The scales, though, come off, and I have no idea what this knife is. I don't know, I think it's missing something here. It's got abused a lot. I mean, I might restore this. I planned on restoring it for a while. I just don't know how to, so it just kind of stays up in my cabinet. It looks nice, you know. Yeah, most of these knives you're about to see now, because we covered all the kind of modern knives, are grandpa knives, which means they're just old style knives, like this case here. I got this from my dad. He just kind of gave me a bunch of knives his dad has. It's missing the case logo, but this is like a slip joint knife, and yeah, it's rusty. The carbon steel is, I think it's patina is what it's called when the carbon steel looks like this. I mean, it's still an expensive knife, so just have it on display. I don't really care for case. You know, that's more for people who are nostalgic, but I don't see the whole craze of spending like 70 to 100 bucks on a knife like this when there is better out there. But I didn't grow up with case, don't care for it, so it's not my thing. This is, I think, a Boy Scout knife from like the 40s or 50s. I can't really tell. I'm not even gonna try to take this out. This is really disgusting. Even though I cleaned these, they're just like, these are more display knives. So we're gonna go now to the kind of final couple of knives, and that's just because they're at the tray at the top. So let me go bring that tray down. All right, so here we have the last couple of knives. Again, most of these are those grandpa knives, but we're gonna start with ones that aren't really. This is my first ever knife I got. I was 9 years old, went camping with my dad, and he got this for me. The Opinel I don't know what model this is. This is the beginner's knife, so, you know, it's not pointy, but it's sharp. Because I was whittling wood, not on the camping trip. This was a couple years later when I found it again. Whittling wood, and it slid across and gave me this scar. So, yeah, I got a lot of... I might make a video on just the stories behind each scar I have from a knife. I don't know if y'all will be interested, but yeah. This was the start to like $200 down the drain. But you know what? Whatever. It's a nice knife for getting your kids into knives. And since we're on the topic of Opinel, right by my sharpening stone, is this. I got this on my pilgrimage just as a knife to carry around. We use it a lot. I mean, it came very handy. A guy wanted to eat food, but we couldn't find him a knife, so I just pulled this out and gave it to him. So you can see it's like, I don't plan on cleaning this, frankly. You know, this just reminds me of a really important time in my life where my life was saved. You know, I heard the voice of God on this and came back a hopefully different and better man. So I really think I might share that story in a video. But yeah, this is just, you know, I think it's the model. Yeah, it says right here, Model 10. I like it. It's not an EDC knife, but I would use this again for camping and all that. And I mean, it's sharp. It was like 18 euro. So it's like 20 bucks, not even. So yeah, nice knife. I guess we'll start back here. This is like a Pakistan crap knife. Oh my gosh, it's like really stuck in there. But yeah, it says Pakistan right here if you can read it. But this is like a gut knife or something. I don't know. It reminds me of those tools people use like to cut down really long fields of grass or like farming. But like this knife is not even sharp. So we'll just close that, put that to the side, and we'll grab this old knife right here. That's a fish knife apparently. And yeah, the rest of these knives are again from my grandpa, so a lot of them are old, rusted, and yeah. But you know, they're a part of, they're historical, so yeah. This knife is, I don't even know what this is. This actually looks nice. This is from Prov Cutlery. Never heard of him. If you guys actually like, you know, studying these old knives, you know, tell me what Prov Cutlery is, but I don't know anything about these older companies. Well, these more obscure companies. We'll move right here. This looks like a case. It's not. But I mean, this is actually in pretty good condition. It just needs to be cleaned up. So, yeah. We'll just move that away and kind of, we're just going to rush through these. You know, there's not much to talk about. They're all the same. I'm not even going to try to take this one out. This is like nasty. And then the final knife is this, I think it's from Japan, actually, from what my reverse image search said. It's this saber knife. Yeah. I mean, the kind of end parts are missing on both sides. I mean, it's got one on each side, so whatever. But yeah, with that being said, I'm pretty sure that was my entire knife collection as of 2025. So, you know, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's just an insight, you know, not a big collection, but I mean, we're getting there. You know, my wallet is screaming at me to stop, but, you know, luckily I suck at listening to things, especially good advice, so hopefully, I don't know, more will come. I mean, I'm already looking at some of the internet. This is an addiction. I think I should see a psychiatrist. But, yeah, with that being said, I'm Bladlore. Hope you enjoyed this video. Get out. Like, stop watching now. Get out. Go. Live your life. Touch grass. Whatever. Adios.